Congratulations. You must be over the moon. Good Lord. 3 gold medals. 1 gold in the 200-meter sprint, another gold in the 4x100 relay, another gold in the 4x400 relay. I feel like I just ran a marathon just getting through all of your accolades. This is amazing. Congratulations. How
Thank
do you feel?
Honestly, very relieved to be back in America. I was overseas for about a month and just so grateful. I really am. This is years in the making. I've been training for this moment for 5 years, and so to have it all turn out this way is truly incredible for me.
Oh. Huge congrats. We just saw you win the 200-meter race. You were so far ahead everyone else. Like, what was the moment that you realized, oh my God, I'm going to win the gold?
So truthfully, I had been envisioning myself winning that race over and over again the entire time that I was in Paris. And so in my head, when I got into the starting blocks, I had already won the race. I had believed that I was an Olympic champion. But the true moment that I realized I had won was coming off the curve. Anyone who watches my track career knows that I finish my races really strongly, and the last 100 meters is my bread and butter. And so if I can come off the first 100 meters ahead, I know I've won the race.
So,
thank you. Thank you.
You essentially manifested this for yourself. Is there anything you can do about the upcoming election? Asking for a friend. One of my favorite moments in all of this was getting to see your mom's reaction the moment that you won. Can you talk about how instrumental she's been throughout your journey?
Oh my goodness, I can go on and on about my mom and her support. So I grew up with them. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, give it up for mom. Give it up for mom.
I mean, my mom has believed in me since I've been born. I grew up with a single mom. I grew up with her and my twin brother, and she has done everything for us from, she started as a waitress and then worked her way and now is a professor of an endowed chairman professorship at the University of Michigan. And so I watched her. I've watched her my entire life work really hard for something and to make her dream happen. And she's always instilled in me the importance of not only education, but going after your dreams and giving back to your community. And so she was the best role model that I could have ever imagined having. And she told me, I will never forget when I was 9, maybe 10 years old, that I had a light in me and that I was going to shine very brightly and that it was my purpose to do so and give it back to the world. And I will never forget that conversation, but just constantly having that type of validation, having that type of a role model to look up to, it got me to where I am.
Well, she was right. Good job, Mama. Training for the Olympics is clearly an enormous amount of physical training and exertion, but what about the mental aspect of it? All of the pressure of feeling like you have to perform in this moment in time. Do you have coping mechanisms that you deal with? Because I pretty much have a mental breakdown within the first 4 minutes of hot yoga. How do you manage all of that?
Oh gosh, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that our sport, half of it is mental. You can prepare physically every day and be so physically prepared, but if you're mentally not there, you're not going to be great. You can be good, but you can't be great. And I remember telling all of my loved ones before I competed at the Olympics, I don't know how I could have prepared for this moment, because there is nothing like walking out into that stadium and seeing 80,000 people on top of you, millions of people watching at home. And in track and field, it's just you out there. You don't have a team to rely on. There are no do-overs. There's no next play. This is it, and this is your moment. And if you don't do it in that moment, then it's over. And gosh, for me, that was a lot of pressure to take on. But I was as prepared as I could have been. I do a lot of meditation exercises. I did my visualizations of the race. I did all of my positive self-talk. And I just have a healthy relationship with the sport and myself in the sport. So while I did believe that I could win the gold medal, I also knew that it was okay if I didn't. All I had to do was put my best self forward and be the best athlete that I could be.
So you're saying no bourbon?
No bourbon. No bourbon.
Well, as though it's not enough to be a 3-time gold medalist, you also graduated from Harvard with a bachelor's in neurobiology. You have a You have a master's in public health. Do you use your neurobiology education and to help inform the way that you train?
I think so. So I think I actually had a bit of an advantage studying neurobiology when I was an undergrad because I grew to have a very deep understanding of how the brain could actually help you athletically and what was important. For example, recovery is huge in our sport. It is almost as important as the actual racing and the actual practicing. And understanding neuroplasticity and the neural pathways and how they change when you're doing certain things for your recovery was really important. Understanding how sleep was very important. If you're not getting enough sleep every day, how that can detrimentally affect your training, how can it affect how you compete, and just really having that understanding for it. Understanding how going through training and the repetition, the muscle memory, all of that is integral to being successful in track and field. So actually understanding that and appreciating it, I think really helped me. It's different from your coach just telling you, go get 8 hours of sleep, you really need it, but I really appreciated it.
You, as though it's not enough, all that you do, you're endlessly impressive. You dedicate a lot of your time towards volunteer work with a health clinic in Texas, providing medical care for people who don't have health insurance. Why is this kind of work so important to you?
Mainly because I believe everybody deserves equal access to health care. Thank you. Simply put, but when I was in school studying neurobiology, I started taking a few sociology courses as well to complement it. And I realized that there were a lot of things we don't learn about the healthcare system in our regular curriculum, and I was being exposed to it. And I drew a passion for studying and gaining a foundation in racial disparities in healthcare. And it just really struck me to my core, especially being a Black woman in America. And now that I'm actually seeing it in real time in Austin at the volunteer healthcare clinic, there are just so many things that we can do better. I mean, these are people who really don't have access to healthcare otherwise. I don't know where they would turn to. And we are people, it's a volunteer-based clinic. So these are people who are dedicating time out of their day to give just primary care, preventive care, education. And it's unfathomable to me that these people would have nowhere else to turn to if this clinic didn't exist. And it's just so simple. It's a simple concept, right? We could increase funding for it and people can have access to healthcare so easily. And that's what we do with the clinic. And it's really just near and dear to my heart because everybody deserves that.
It's so inspiring what you do. Truly remarkable. I refuse to ask the question, what will you do next? Because for the love of God, you just won 3 gold medals. You should celebrate it and enjoy it. So what I'm curious about is how are you celebrating this incredible moment?
Well, I'm just really excited to go back home to Austin, Texas, to be honest, and spend time with my puppy, Rico. Get back into my morning routine of going to my local coffee shop, go see my friends and family and get to celebrate with them just in our home setting, and then maybe plan a vacation after that. But I just can't wait to get back to my normal life.
I'd say you earn a pretty nice vacation after all of this. Thank you so much.